Born Charles Dennis Buchinsky on November 3, 1921, in Ehrenfeld, Pennsylvania. Charles Bronson was the 11th of 15 children in a family of Lithuanian immigrants. His father, Walteris Buchinskis, went by Walter to sound more American, and his mother was Mary Valinsky. Walter worked as a coal miner in the Pennsylvania mines, and the family lived in severe poverty. Charles often recalled the hardships of his early school years. Clothing was so scarce that classmates frequently teased him, and he sometimes had to remove his socks after school so his older brother could wear them into the mines. At home, only Lithuanian and Russian were spoken, and Charles was a teenager before he became fluent in English. When he was 10 years old, his father, Walter, died, and by age 16, Charles had joined his older brother working in the mines. Despite the grueling labour, Charles displayed a natural artistic talent from a young age. Teachers regularly called upon him to create Thanksgiving and Christmas drawings for the classroom, a skill he said came to him instinctively. He was the first in his family to finish high school, graduating from South Park High School in Ehrenfeld in 1939. After working in the mines for 4 years, from age 16 to 20, he developed severe claustrophobia and was forced to quit. He worked various odd jobs to help support his mother and siblings until he was drafted into the military in 1943. Bronson later described his military service as the best thing that ever happened to him, finally giving him plenty of food and clean clothes. Initially assigned as a truck driver for a mess squadron in Kingman, Arizona, he was later transferred to the 61st Bombardment Squadron on Guam. There he served as an aerial gunner on a B-29 Boeing's Super Fortress, flying combat missions over the Japanese home islands. He was awarded a Purple Heart after being shot in the left arm by a Japanese fighter pilot, an injury that left permanent scars. Following the war, Bronson drifted through various jobs, from short-order cook to bricklayer, and even rented out beach chairs in Atlantic City. It was there he met a group of vacationing actors from a Philadelphia troupe who were impressed by his artistic skills. They hired him to paint sets and do occasional acting work. Once he realized the financial potential of acting, he decided, "I can do that." He admitted he pursued the profession primarily for the money, not necessarily for the craft of it. In 1947, while still in Philadelphia, he met 18-year-old aspiring actress Harriet Tendler. On their first date, Bronson showed her the only money he had, 4 cents in his pocket. They married 2 years later at the City Hall Club in Atlantic City on September 30th, 1949. That same year, with $250 and a one-way Greyhound ticket, they moved to California. Harriet worked to support them under the agreement that once Charlie succeeded as an actor, he would help her pursue her own career. Using the GI Bill, Bronson enrolled at the Pasadena Playhouse, where an introduction from his teacher led to his first uncredited film role in the 1951 Gary Cooper film You're in the Navy Now, directed by Henry Hathaway. That film also marked the debut of Lee Marvin. Bronson continued to land small parts, playing a boxer opposite Roy Rogers in The Knockout and portraying the mute henchman Iger in the Vincent Price horror classic House of Wax. During the height of the Hollywood blacklist, his agent grew concerned that the name Buchinsky sounded too Russian. Heeding the advice, Charles chose the screen name Bronson, reportedly taken from a street sign near the studio. During the filming of Vera Cruz in Mexico, he and fellow actor Ernest Borgnine once rode into town fully costumed as gunslingers, only to be detained by the federales, who mistook them for real outlaws. By the mid-1950s, Bronson was a staple on television, appearing in countless shows, including Gunsmoke, Alfred Hitchcock Presents, and Have Gun, Will Travel, accumulating over 80 TV appearances across his career. His first leading film role came in 1958 with Machine Gun Kelly, for which he was paid $5,000. That same year, he starred in the television series Man with a Camera, which ran for 2 years and paid him $2,000 per week. His career gained significant momentum in 1960 when director John Sturges cast him as one of the Magnificent Seven. Although Bronson was known for being a loner on set, preferring the company of his family to making friends, the role paid him $50,000. Sturges called on him again in 1963 for The Great Escape, casting him as a claustrophobic Polish prisoner of war, a role that resonated deeply given Bronson's own traumatic experiences in the coal mines. It was on this set that he met actress Jill Ireland, who was then married to his co-star David McCallum. Bronson famously told McCallum, "Someday I'm going to marry your wife." In 1965, after years of drifting apart, Harriet Bronson filed for divorce, spurred by a private detective's findings of infidelity. Though Harriet admitted she could have tolerated the affairs, she felt she could not compete with the love Bronson had for Jill Ireland. Harriet suffered a severe breakdown and was initially unable to care for their 2 children, Suzanne and Tony, resulting in Bronson being awarded custody. Eventually, Harriet rebuilt her life as a successful and beloved late-night radio talk show host in Los Angeles. She never remarried. By 1968, both divorces were finalized, and on October 5th, Charles Bronson married Jill Dorothy Ireland in a small ceremony at Santa Monica City Hall, with all 5 of their combined children present. The family settled into a sprawling Bel Air mansion, which grew to accommodate 7 children after the birth of their daughter Zuleika and the later adoption of a family friend's daughter, Katrina. Bronson's career ascended to new heights in the 1970s, earning him a Golden Globe for Most Popular Actor in the World, and million-dollar paychecks for iconic roles in films like Death Wish and its sequels. He and Jill Ireland became a frequent on-screen couple, starring together in 14 films. During these years, they maintained a close-knit family life, taking the children along to filming locations around the world. In May 1984, their lives were upended when Jill was diagnosed with breast cancer. Following a routine exam and subsequent tests, Bronson had to deliver the devastating news that the tumor was malignant. For the next 6 years, Bronson stepped away from acting entirely, dedicating himself to Jill's full-time care as she underwent grueling chemotherapy, radiation, and a mastectomy. Despite finding solace at their Vermont horse ranch, the cancer eventually spread to her lungs. As Jill's health declined, a young assistant named Kim Weeks became an invaluable support to both her and Charles. The family suffered another tragic blow in November 1989 when Jill's adopted son, Jason McCallum, was found dead in his apartment from causes linked to substance abuse. Just 6 months later, on May 18, 1990, Jill Ireland passed away at her Malibu home at the age of 54, surrounded by her family. At her request, she was cremated, and her remains were kept by her husband. In the years following Jill's death, Bronson maintained that he would never remarry, keeping her room exactly as she had left it. He starred in a few more television movies, including the Family of Cops series, but his health began to decline. After undergoing hip replacement surgery in 1998, he retired from acting. He also quietly married his longtime assistant Kim Weeks in December of that same year. By 1999, Bronson was showing signs of Alzheimer's disease and had also been diagnosed with lung cancer. His condition deteriorated to the point that friends noted he no longer recognized that he had been a famous actor. Charles Bronson passed away on August 30th, 2003, at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in Los Angeles from pneumonia and complications of lung cancer and Alzheimer's disease. He was 81 years old. Honoring his final wishes, his remains were interred with those of Jill Ireland at Brownsville Cemetery in West Windsor, Vermont.